To boldly go where no man has gone before.
Boldly taking talk radio where it has never gone before. New vistas, new voices, new views, new visions, new victories. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're taking public media black.
I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. If your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turnoffs? Fantasies and fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy.
How about the heavy stuff?
The child wasn't his, and he still had to pay child support.
It's a very heated topic.
How was that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I just like to kiss. Is there something wrong with that?
Damn.
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed.
Hit you with the bad pipes routine.
How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches my neck.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man rules on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
Yeah.
How do you write women so well?
Zoe Williams,
Reason and accountability.
the voice of reason.
I think I am afraid of intimacy and closeness. Okay, fair enough. And that's a very common fear. You're not alone. You may think you're alone in that, but you definitely aren't. And it's also a justified fear. I mean, if you allow someone to be close to you, then you open yourself up to them and they can hurt and betray you. So of course there's reason to be afraid. So what do you do about that? Well, there's reason to be afraid of lack of intimacy and distance. You want to be alone for the rest of your life? That's a frightening thought. In all likelihood, it's not that easy to get through life on your own. You know, it's lonesome and difficult. And if you're in trouble, you don't have someone to help you out, and you don't have someone to help when they're in trouble, and you don't have anyone to share your triumphs with, and all of that. So that's not good. So you might be afraid of intimacy, but you should be at least as afraid of its lack. And so maybe those fears can balance. You know, you say, well, I'm afraid of intimacy, so I won't go there. Well, you're not afraid enough of being alone. And so you got to bring that up.
Oof. You're not afraid enough of being alone. You're more afraid of intimacy than you are of being alone. Now that's a mouthful. Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of reason exclusively on KBLA. Yes, you're listening to the VOR. And we're always on fire on KBLA Talk 1580. Tonight's topic has been a monstrously good one. And I want you guys to tap in if you can. What you running from? A deeper look at why some people run away from intimacy in relationships. We've asked a ton of deep questions. We have a lot of callers on the line. We're going to get them in from all over the country, of course. Intense closeness may result in unexpected effects, man. Temporary distancing, even in a good relationship. When that intense closeness, it can be overwhelming when you're used to relying on just you and yourself. A lot of people run from intimacy for those reasons. Difficulty trusting others, man. People with intimacy issues may struggle to trust, even those who are close to them. Fear of vulnerability. People with intimacy issues may also avoid opening up emotionally or sharing personal information with others. Again, it even goes as far as avoidance of physical touch. People with intimacy issues can also avoid physical touch or intimacy, even with romantic partners. Then it transitions to difficulty expressing emotions. Many people who suffer from intimacy issues may avoid opening up and actually sharing how they feel, expressing how they feel, or, may feel uncomfortable when others express their emotions. 1-800-920-1580. Get to your phone lines. Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. The voice of reason is about to cook. Of course, there's fear of abandonment. Many people are afraid of abandonment. People with intimacy issues may not engage in a relationship because they fear being abandoned or rejected by others, which could, again, lead to a reluctance to even go into a relationship, to even form one. And then also, you got to look at their experiential history. Is there a lack of close relationships? You know, people with intimacy issues may have few close relationships and or may struggle to maintain them when they do cultivate them. And let's go to the bedroom. Difficulty with sexual intimacy. People with intimacy issues may also struggle with sexual intimacy or may avoid it altogether. Eeh. And then here's the monster. Here's the gigantic side. Emotional detachment. People with intimacy issues may appear emotionally detached. I like to use the word indifferent, not emotionally invested. You know, communication style is it could be labeled as avoidant, right? Right. May appear emotionally detached or may struggle to connect with others on an emotional level. It is important to note that everyone's experiences intimacy differently. And some people may not experience any of these signs. However, if you are someone you know is experiencing any of these signs and it's impacting their relationships or quality of life, it may be helpful to seek support from a mental health professional. Dr. Deshauna Johnson, Dr. Sunshine, Dr. Pacoya Robinson. What about even Epiphany? Not even, she's in there. This is like the super friend of women clinicians that I know, black women clinicians. What about Mayumi McKinley? She can get in here and cook with the best of them. We would love to have them come in again, and they will be back. Don't worry. They will be back. But you have to understand, people run from intimate relationships. Now, remember, running to the relationship is an escape from self, too. Relationships can't hide you from you. I've said this before. Relationship is a highly reflective classroom where the biofeedback you get from your partner is your personal curriculum. So again, many people hop from relationship to relationship trying to keep reliving the newness of it and trying to, they keep, going because the stimulation, then the endorphin rush. And then when the mirror shows up, then they try to leave, right? Again, that's escapism. Running to a relationship to hide from yourself is escapism. Running from a relationship to hide from yourself is escapism. What do you mean hide from myself? I just gave you the whole list of ways people hide from themselves. Fear of vulnerability, fear of rejection, unhealed, unacknowledged past trauma, low self-esteem. Do you get what I'm saying? These are all signs, right? Right? Somebody who fears intimacy, low self-esteem, have trust issues, experience episodes of anger, actively avoid physical contact, have trouble forming or committing close relationships, have a history of unstable relationships, be unable to share feelings or express emotions. See, when it gets down, when the rubber meets the road in the relationship and you got to show up in this way, when you exit stage left, that's escapism. Do you understand? I want y'all to understand this is what is happening. Please understand this about intimacy. In your life, right? Intimacy is a crucial aspect of any relationship. But some people tend to run away from it. This behavior is often associated with the avoidant attachment style, which was first introduced by John Bowlby. The avoidant attachment style is characterized by a fear of intimacy and a tendency to avoid emotional closeness with others. If you're securely attached, you're going to be hurt if your partner cheats on you. You're going to be hurt if your partner lies to you. You're going to be hurt, disappointed, frustrated, angry if your partner did something to disrespect the relationship. But if for the most part you guys have a good relationship, if for the most part you guys got more to experience, you got more good than bad in that relationship, a securely attached person is going to find a way to make it work. They're going to find a way to heal. They're going to heal themselves. They're going to offer healing and support to their partner. There's going to be forgiveness. But when you're dealing with the aforementioned, the things that I mentioned before I began to read this, Those wounds linger longer. Eesh. The avoidant attachment style is characterized by a fear of intimacy and a tendency to avoid emotional closeness with others. In this show, we will explore some of the reasons why people with an avoidant attachment style may run from intimacy in relationships. One of the primary reasons why people with an avoidant attachment style may run from intimacy is due to their fear of being vulnerable. Vulnerability is an essential aspect of intimacy, and it requires individuals to open up and share their deepest thoughts and feelings with their partners. I know brothers ain't doing this. Many brothers are not doing this. Brothers, you got to open up if you want her to open up. And we're not talking about open it up for you. You know, men take it to the physical. Open it up then. Let's go. That ain't the only opening that's available. There's a spiritual opening. There's an emotional opening. There's an empathetic opening. There's an intellectual opening, right? Men just bottom line it. You just open it up then. A lot of men don't understand that there are levels to opening. And they start with how open you are, brother. Go ahead, Andy.
Nah, man, you just saying that, man, it reminded me of my girl a couple weeks ago, man. She got on my head because she felt like I wasn't being vulnerable enough. She felt like, maybe I was hiding certain things, and she just like expressed to me that she wants to know everything.
Wow.
When I talk about everything, I mean everything.
Wow.
So it's just funny that you said that.
Wow.
Man. It's true. It's facts.
Sometimes you're not psychic. Sometimes you just insecure. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because listen, you're not going to know everything about me. What do you want? I put my right leg in my pants in the morning first, then followed by the left. My knee is a little shaky, so I lean on my right leg more than... No, you're not going to know all of that. I used to love corn pops before they changed the ingredients. Now, my favorite is Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Listen, you're not going to know all of that. And why is that necessary, right? Oh, man. All right. The voice of reason, we in here tonight. We cooking. We got phone lines cracking. Let's do this. Listen, if you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. 1-800-920-1580. Who's been on the longest? Nazarene X, Atlanta, Georgia. Get in here.
What up, man? What's love, man?
What's happening?
Ain't nothing too much, man. I think, again, that the essence of it all, one is that a lot of people maybe haven't really solidified their own definition of what intimacy is for them, or even haven't had that flat-out conversation with their person of interest or their partner to say, well, what is this concept of intimacy to you? And even sometimes maybe presenting it like a conversation or a discovery mode. Again, when you're getting to know somebody, to an extent, we already kind of account for different people having different life experiences, different definitions, and, things that make their story what it is. So if everybody has their own mind, if the aspect of intimacy is important to you, then potentially when you're getting to know someone, being willing to have a conversation and allowing your partner to present their truth so that y'all can work with that as grounds for, focusing upon where things align, where y'all can establish a mutual ground of understanding and respect. Because a lot of times, maybe due to someone's own traumatic experiences revolving around intimacy or the idea of intimacy, they're expecting that their partner is going to be another version of that, because by default, we are creatures of habit. We recognize patterns naturally. Mm-hmm. So sometimes, again, that could be the so-called justifiable reason why people run away from an idea, because they haven't been given, or they haven't even given themselves the opportunity to accept that whom they're dealing with is on the same page with them.
Oh,
and actually,
so hold on, because you know you done came with some stuff, so now I got to get involved. Now there go nephew. Now I got to get involved. See, I wasn't even trying to get involved, but now I got to get involved because you done said something. Now this is what we gonna do. Now we gonna hold tight and move forward. We gonna go forward. But brother, when we come forward, brother, let me tell you, I'm gonna deal with what you just said. That was heavy. Let's go.
Reasons. The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings won't disappear. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
The pandemic may be over, but many Angelinos could be at risk of losing the place they call home. It's important to know your rights as a residential renter in the city of LA. Did you know eviction protection still exists for unpaid COVID-19 rental debt that was due before March 31st, 2023? And that you have 5 days to respond to an eviction notice, also known as an unlawful detainer. Learn more about your rental rights at housing.lacity.org. Be informed, be protected, be at home.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
"Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis."
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist and ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Men, you fought hard for the role that you play in your children's lives. This Father's Day, Cordell & Cordell celebrates you the entire month of June. Join us every Friday for our live webinar series, Father's Fridays. There you'll receive much useful information from our panel of speakers. To register, go to CordellCordell.com/Father's Day.
1455 Frazee Road, Suite 1050, San Diego, California, 92108. CordellCordell.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action is the youth component of the impactful CBO, known as the Community Coalition. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action has chapters at almost every South LA high school. Say Yeah, as they are popularly known, is located at 80th and Vermont, but serves young people all over South LA. Under the COCO umbrella, they train youth organizers, help underserved scholars prepare for college, and work with students to help them gain admission to top universities. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action fosters teen activism, where young people have led campaigns moving tens of millions of dollars to South LA schools and forcing officials to make AP classes available to students in under-resourced institutions. SCEL scholars have taken part in the March on Washington, been published in major news outlets, and been elected to city council. Long before she was mayor, Karen Bass started the program when she founded the Community Coalition. To donate, volunteer, or enroll a student in South Central Youth Empowered Through Action, please visit cocsouthla.org. cocsouthla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Desperado, sitting in a old Monte Carlo, a man whose heart is hollow. Take it easy, I'm not trying to go against it. Actually, I'm going with you. Gotta get up out of here and you will leave me, but I know you won't, cause we share common interest. You need me, there ain't no leaving me behind. Never know, no, just one out of here, yeah. Cause I'm gone, ain't no going back. If you want, we could be the runaways, running from inside of love, yeah, yeah. There ain't nothing here for me. There ain't nothing here for me anymore, but I don't wanna be alone. Desperado.
Ladies and gentlemen, man, I curate all of the music on my playlist. Ain't that right, Andy?
I'm not trying to go
Hey, I pick every song, man. Man, my playlist, don't play with me. Play with your playlist. Don't play with me. You understand? My playlist is my co-host. And tonight, man, we are talking about some heavy stuff. Why people run from intimacy in relationship. Now, the record that we just played, that's Rihanna. The record is called Desperado. Great record. Love the story underneath it. But again, here we are talking about something really deep, something really profound, and coming from a really broken, kind of mediocre kind of person. Yeah. Yeah. Like nobody sitting in, me anyway, I'm not going to sit in this chair and proclaim to be perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not going to sit in this chair and proclaim to be the perfect partner, the perfect person, the perfect parent. I'm not those things. All of those things have peeled back layers of my soul and revealed different layers of understanding, right? Different levels of understanding for myself. And one of the valuable lessons that I'm still in the process of totally digesting is when a layer is peeled back, lean in. Oftentimes, people refuse to lean into themselves, which is why they can't lean into their relationship or lean into others. It's a tough space to be in. I want you guys to understand another way why, another reason for why people may have an avoidant attachment style. It may run from intimacy is due to their fear of losing their independence. People with an avoidant attachment style tend to value their independence and autonomy above all else. They may have grown up in an environment where they were expected to be self-sufficient and to take care of themselves. And as a result, they may have learned to rely on themselves and avoid situations where they feel dependent on others in a relationship, right? And in a relationship, intimacy often requires individuals to rely on each other and make compromises. For people with an avoidant attachment style, this can be challenging, and it may feel as if they're losing their independence. But what if they willingly gave up their independence only to be rejected? What if their whole life they thought this way? I'm not giving up my independence. I was raised to be self-sufficient. I was raised to do it myself. I was raised to depend on myself. I was raised to handle it. I was raised to manifest answers now. I was raised to get it done. And then they meet the one person that gets them to let down the walls. And then those people, as soon as you let down the walls, they start to act like, maybe not. But when the walls were up, they were like knocking on the door. Huh? What about that phenomena? Sheesh. Dr. Delana was telling me, she was like trying to psychoanalyze me. You brought her in here. I blame you, Arabia. She was trying to psychoanalyze me. She was like, so how did you arrive at this current ideation? She's deep and she got that voice, right? So I was like, oh, you trying to pierce the veil. That's what you're trying to do. So I gave her one little nugget and that's all she needed. I was like, I was just raised to do it myself. She was like, oh, so you keep people at arm's distance. I was like, oh, hey, hold on. Slow down. Don't dig too deep now. She was trying to, but sometimes it's soul crushing when that happens. When you get to a point where you say, you know what? I'm going to open up. Then you get dinged because you opened up when you were able to open up. Talk to me, y'all. Phone lines are open. Nazarene X, get back in here and finish your thoughts.
Man, I'm trying to have you deal with the elephant in the room. Let me just throw this up in the air for you, huh? I believe a lot of times too. I just imagine that a lot of our residual responses to being traumatized or betrayed and things like that they tend to come with, if you're not, quote unquote, like just down on yourself and like really just scared and fearful and resting in a place of despair, I think the other side of that is like a level of energy that just comes with a tone of violence, right? It's not necessarily to be violent, but like we'll lash out at things that hurt us, right? So I think sometimes while we're still inside having that type of, how you put it, instability within, like if you're not in control of your emotions and you're easily tipped off, or like, again, you don't feel like you have a grip on how you might respond to adversity, that I believe becomes a cycle to where, again, people feel like it's okay to, where they think they're drawing healthy boundaries, that's where they're actually escaping. Because the flip side is like, when you present someone with, like, if you're really passionate about something that you're not going to come up off of, like, you almost have to present someone with an ultimatum. Or at least, like, how you say you put someone on notice, like, again, regarding, for example, someone's family members or children. To an extent, it's hard to have that conversation where it's like, woman is or has a child and she's considering opening up that door to let the man of interest meet her kids, but behind the scenes, she feels like, hey, look, bottom line is I'm willing to kill about my children. She might not want to lead with that energy. You see what I'm saying? So she might avoid the entirety of those type of situations strictly because in her mind, she's protecting her children.
But we have to remember, I hear the example that you're giving. And what I don't want you to do is frame it as justifiable. It might be justifiable in the moment, right? Yeah. It might be justifiable in the moment, but we're talking about moving forward as an evolving being. We have to take opportunities to heal and grow up out of maladjusted coping mechanisms. And I would believe, and I tend to lean towards this ideation that anything that is avoidant will eventually sow seeds of conflict.
Right.
So yes,
like you're projecting that.
Yes, you're giving a good example for why somebody would be avoidant. But what you don't want to do is say, "Hey, here's a pat on the back for avoiding that," because at some point you got to be able to go through the fire, through the crucible, and be transformed.
And that's the key to it. Yeah. Again, don't get me wrong. Not necessarily. Well, it's like having compassion or understanding for it, but the key again is to emphasize like everybody's gonna make their own decisions. So until you're willing to lean into the truth of who you are more fully, again, just like you're not even being that intimate or that real with yourself inside. Like again, you're already running from yourself. So that's basically the whole trick bag is like,
wait, I can't let you just keep rolling, brother. We don't. I gotta get you to start looking at the clock. I gotta get you to look at the clock, brother. Nazarene X, I love you, brother. Atlanta, Georgia, in the building. Listen, if you want to bring your city in the building, you know the routine. Call me 1-800-920-1580. When I come forward, we're going to Battle Creek, Michigan. We're going to Austin, Texas. We got a lot still left to talk about.
He's on fire tonight. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Julius White. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The father and the aunt of New York Congressman George Santos have been revealed as the ones who secured his $500,000 bail. Santos was arrested in May on charges of wire fraud, money laundering, and theft of public funds. Well, the state of Maryland is taking the steps to help students address learning losses brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. The State Department of Education announced it's joining the National Partnership for Student Success following President Biden's call for more tutors to support students in their academic recovery. And a high school volleyball player from Tennessee who lost her legs after a car hit her in downtown St. Louis, Missouri, has filed a lawsuit against the city. The crash highlighted what was seen as negligence by the city's former chief prosecutor for not keeping the driver of a stolen car in jail. I'm Julius White on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Life is uncertain. It's okay to feel stressed, anxious, worried, or frustrated. CalHope can help. Access CalHope's free and secure mental health resources. Call or text 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
Boldly taking talk radio where it has never gone before. New vistas, new voices, new views, new visions, new victories. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're taking public media black.
Hey LA, keep your utility bills low this summer while making your home the cool place to be. LADWP can help you save hundreds with air conditioner and thermostat rebates, plus free energy efficient home upgrades and simple tips to help you beat the heat and save money. Visit ladwp.com/cool-LA.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. The Center for the Pacific Asian Family was founded to help address domestic violence and sexual assault in the Asian and the Pacific Islander communities. The Center for the Pacific Asian Family's mission is to build healthy and safe communities by addressing the root causes and consequences of family violence and violence against women. They are committed to meeting the specific cultural and language needs of the Asian and Pacific Islander women and their families. CPAF's vision is of an Asian and Pacific Islander community that embraces healthy relationships and works in partnership with other communities to eradicate all forms of violence. To access services, volunteer, or for more info, visit nurturingchange.org. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe everyone deserves to be safe. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to K-Drip, where we play all the best classic water-wasting hits like Sprinklers in the Rain and Leaky Faucets. They're tunes from another time because now that we face a hotter, drier future, every drop counts. Despite an extremely wet winter, keep using less water, fixing leaks, and reusing indoor water for your garden. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more ways to conserve. Up next, brushing your teeth with the water on.
K-Drip. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
The rent is too damn high. KBLA joins you in calling for affordable housing. The LA Tenants Union is a diverse, tenant-led movement fighting for the human right to housing for all. The LA Tenants Union demands safe, affordable housing and union rent control. They organize against landlord harassment, mass evictions, and displacement, and mobilize for the repeal of the Ellis Act and Costa-Hawkins Act. The LA Tenants Union is on a mission to strengthen tenants' political power through education, advocacy, and direct action. To get help with your eviction or other landlord-tenant issues, take action for justice, or become a member, visit latenantsunion.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Ray Richardson, your sports connection here at KBLA Talk 1580. Join me and my co-host Neil Scarborough every Saturday night at 7 for Out of Bounds, the show that brings some flavor to the world of sports for 60 minutes. We take you beyond the scores and press conferences. We give you our point of view, the way black folks see what's going down. You can join the conversation and give us your analysis at 1-800-920-1580. Out of Bounds every Saturday night at 7 on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
You like your style, bro?
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
You must have done something wrong.
Understanding the diagnostic process for a personality disorder is difficult, but Dr. Ramani makes it simple. In this episode, she explains how the path to a diagnosis should and should not look, and walks through the 7 criteria used to diagnose avoidant personality disorder. All right, Dr. Ramani, what goes into diagnosing somebody with avoidant personality disorder?
You know, Kyle, as with all personality disorders, it's not just sort of like a quick and easy kind of a process. Many times when we come to the diagnosis of a personality disorder, it can require multiple interactions with a client to hear about how they're doing in various areas of their life, with their friendships, in their family, with a partner, at work or at school, because personality disorders tend to be pervasive. So if this is just somebody who doesn't want to do a sales talk, but they're doing well in those other areas, it takes time to get all that information. So at the core of it, in order to figure this out, we need a series of clinical interviews, or at least to start treatment with someone. If a person with avoidant personality disorder came into treatment, they may very, very well come into treatment because they feel lonely and they feel frustrated and not being able to connect to other people. That might be what brings them in. So when they're brought in with that kind of a presenting issue, we're going to think about a lot of things. Is this person socially anxious? Is this person depressed? What's going on here? And then we'll dig deeper, and once we see the pervasiveness of it, it might take us even a few weeks, maybe even a few months to land on this summit squarely. We'll also look at, for example, how do they perceive how other people view them? Is this more about being anxious, or is this really about feeling inadequate and that people will reject them? People who are socially anxious are just more reacting to the physiological reactions they're having at that time. And yeah, they do worry about, screwing up, if you will. But for the person who is experiencing avoidant personality disorder, it really is. It's the fear of rejection, the fear of criticism, the hypersensitivity. The themes are a little bit different. So it's a really nuanced kind of a path. And I have to tell you, I've worked with clients for maybe the first 6 weeks. I thought he's socially anxious. And about week 8 or 9, I'm like, no, this might actually be more pervasive than that. And it'll show me how much more severe and consistent it is. And then I might do a little bit more work once I realize it's avoidant personality on sort of unscrambling those fears and focusing on it more as a pervasive pattern than as an anxiety disorder.
I would imagine that most people come in for depression.
Depression is probably one of the primary leading causes of why people ever get into mental health treatment. But I have to tell you, there's also a lot of stuff of life that get people in: relationship problems, dating problems, but a lot of it's relationship problems. And that's a lot of what brings people over the threshold of my office. Problems in a marriage, problems with a parent, problems with an adult child, something like that. And that we can break it down from there. So sometimes people will even come in with an entirely different kind of an issue, and then we'll end up coming in a back door on this one. So it really takes a lot of interviewing.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Dr. Ramani. You know how the voice of reason does. We mix clinical thought with spiritual thought, with philosophical thought, and wrap it all around relationships. We want to talk about how we relate. And tonight's topic, what you running from? Why are you running from relationships? Some people who run from relationship, let me say it. People with an avoidant attachment style may also run from intimacy due to the fear of being engulfed. That feeling of being overwhelmed. Engulfment refers to the feeling of being overwhelmed or suffocated by another person's needs and emotions. People with an avoidant attachment style may have experienced this in their past relationships, where their partners may have been overly needy or demanding. As a result, they may have learned to avoid situations where they feel engulfed. That person looks like an octopus. I'm out. Right? They may avoid that. In a relationship, intimacy often requires individuals to be emotionally available and responsible to their partner's needs. For someone with an avoidant attachment style, this may be challenging, as it may trigger their fear of being engulfed. The phone lines are cracking. Let's get people in here to talk about it. Who's been on the longest? Reggie, Austin, Texas. Get in here.
Hey, what's up, Zoe?
What
Man,
up,
I love the conversation, man. I think we're kind of, well, maybe it's me that's missing a part of this discussion because I'm part of that group that bought the books, that bought the self-help books, that got the coaching, that went through the counseling and all this and that, and is just fixing himself. Okay, and so you're not avoiding relationships. You kind of retreating, and retreating is just stepping back, reassessing, and then moving forward. And I mean, that's part of healing. And so it seems like if you just retreat, you kind of lumped into the people that are avoiding things. And I don't think I'm avoiding anything.
Or you're lumping yourself.
Point taken.
Yeah, by overthinking it, because your path is your path, right? So it's inconsequential for what others are doing. Your path is your path. Now, if you start to evaluate and judge and, kind of look at yours and compare yours to them, then you may come up with those ideas that says what you said. But I'm saying none of that is relevant to your process. None of it. What anybody else is going through, what anybody else is doing, none of that is relevant. You probably just came up with that idea yourself, that you're being lumped in with being avoidant as opposed to taking a step back. Right? And the reality of it is, in your universe, it's taking a step back. Right?
Right.
There you go.
Simple enough. All right. Works for me.
What you want me to do? Say, no, your universe and its rules are wrong. No, I'm not going to do that.
Nothing like that. Nothing like that. No. It just seemed like it was all one thing. And it was just a totally different thing. But
add another. Wait, hold on. Add another layer.
Yeah.
Add another layer. It seems like it's all one thing, right? That's what you said, right?
Absolutely.
Now add 2 words to that at the end. What are those 2 words? Come on, Reggie.
To me.
To me. That's it.
Yeah.
See, let me hip you and thank you for this, man. Thank you. I knew he was gonna come and give me something. To me. See, I tell people, go look up a type of English called English Prime. English Prime is used by theoretical physicists because the mathematics of decoding physical reality is so advanced that our language is limited in trying to explain what the math is seeing. So what they figured out is the math can't be brought fully into articulation, the articulation of a language. So we got to get rid of is. We can't say what something is definitively. Because we started off by saying the atom is the smallest piece of reality until we got technologically advanced enough to know that was a lie. English Prime is English without is. When I come forward, I'm going to go even deeper. Stay with me, Reggie. Austin, Texas. We on fire tonight.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
Tina Turner's hometown to build a statue in her honor. Maisha Cairo here with your K-Black Minute News. On May 24, news spread of the death of the queen of rock and roll, Tina Turner, who died at 83 years old. Turner's representatives say she died of natural causes after long illness. The mayor of Tina's hometown has since revealed plans to build a statue in honor of Turner. Bill Rawls Jr., mayor of Brownsville, reveals his hope to have the sculpture placed in Heritage Park near the high school Tina attended as a teenager. She was born in the same town in 1939. Rest in peace to the queen of rock and roll, Tina Turner. I'm Maisha Cairo for KBLA Talk 1580, and that's your K-Black Minute News.
This is Tyrone celebrating the 75th anniversary of Black Radio, and June is Black Music Month. Brought to you by Procter & Gamble.
Don't you know that I heard it through the grapevine? God much longer want to be mine. Don't you know that I heard it through the grapevine?
From their first big hit in 1967, I Heard It Through the Grapevine, I always did love me some Gladys Knight and the Pips. They were a superior singing group.
He's leaving on that midnight train to Georgia.
To the Grammy-winning single, Love Overboard.
Love overboard, love overboard. My love's in need of help. Love overboard, love overboard. I sure can't help myself. Love overboard.
Let's widen all views to the resilience, joy, beauty, and vastness of the Black experience. Learn more at pg.com/widen the screen.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for education as a right, not a privilege. Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science is a private, non-profit, community-founded, student-centered university committed to cultivating diverse health profession leaders who are dedicated to social justice and health equity for underserved populations. CDU does this through outstanding education, clinical service, and community engagement. Recently, Charles Drew University made history by opening only the 5th medical school at an historically Black university. Congratulations, South LA, and congratulations to the Dean of the medical school, Dr. Deborah Protho-Stith. CDU is now training doctors and providing $90 million in annual economic benefit to Watts and surrounding neighborhoods. To apply for medical school, get more information, or sign your child up for the Junior Doctors Saturday School program, visit cdrewu.edu. That's cdrewu.edu. At KBLA, we are dedicated to equity in education and ending healthcare apartheid. And we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're ruling the way that I move, and I breathe your air. You only can rescue me. This is my prayer. If you are mine, you are mine, I wouldn't want to go to heaven. I cherish the day, I won't go astray, I won't be afraid, you won't catch me running. You're ruling the way that I move. You take my hand.
Maybe logic was invented by John von Neumann in 1933. Von Neumann is the unappreciated genius of modern science. Scientists appreciate him, but the general public, I don't think, has ever heard of him. He wrote one of the best books on quantum mechanics. He was one of the pioneers of programmable computers. We wouldn't have internet without him. Anyway, maybe logic, one of his major inventions, instead of dividing everything into true and false like Aristotle, which only applies in the abstract. Aristotelian logic only applies if you ignore the sensory, sensual, space-time continuum in which we live. If you take into context we live in a real universe, which we're touching things, bumping into things, kissing things, loving things, hating things, throwing rocks at things, and so on, you realize that most of our perceptions are in the maybe mode. They're not yes or no. They're not true or false. They're just maybes. I think maybe.
So, that is famed author Robert Anton Wilson, author of the books Prometheus Rising, Quantum Psychology, and many, 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 many others. And what he was saying, this is when he was a little older and he was really ill. So a lot of people may not have been able to hear him clearly. What he was saying was, maybe logic was created by a physicist by the name of John von Neumann in 1933. Again, to explain fourth dimensional mathematics. He was saying prior to the invention of E prime is what it's called. He calls it maybe logic, but von Neumann called it E prime. That is English prime, English without is or to be, because again, reality was being changed by quantum mechanics, the emergence of quantum mechanics. And before that, before E prime was used to describe what the mathematical models were saying about the universe, they used Aristotelian logic, Aristotle, right? Aristotle, his logic is limited. His logic is linear, meaning it's either yes or no. And with the advent and the emergence of quantum mechanics, logic started to shift to maybe, because we were getting deeper and deeper into the atom, deeper and deeper into the electron, deeper and deeper into the quark. You get what I'm saying? So apply that to relationships. Most of our ideation about relationship, most of our expectation, most of our beliefs, most of our expectations are really rigid. There's not enough maybe in it. And what Robert Anton Wilson said was, he said, if people used maybe logic in their everyday lives, he said the world would wake up 50% saner, because we would stop making declarations that we think are true. We would start to reframe. From my perspective, it looks as if this may be the case. That's using E prime. And instead of saying, you know what, you's a liar, and this is why. Do you get what I'm saying? E prime takes is out of it. From my limited view, from my limited experience, this is what this reminds me of. Now, I could be wrong, but from my perspective, this is what it feels like. And because I'm emotional about it, my perception could very well be off. That's E prime. This is what it's looking like, but that don't mean what it is. Do you understand? Technology is more advanced than your psychology right now. And I'm trying to bring this to the table. This is why your relationships are fragmented and broken. I know y'all not ready for what I do. Reggie, get in here, man.
It seems like you're saying that we have to round the edges of our arguments and of everything as far as our relationships. We can't take ourselves so seriously, and we can't take our relationships so seriously. We got to give them the room to grow into what they're going to be.
How about that?
And that makes sense to me. As far as spirituality, that sounds like faith, to be honest with you. And it sounds like hope, to be honest with you. And hope is not just some figment, but hope is something that you work toward.
Well, no,
I get that.
Let's get deep. You said it sounds like faith. Well, if we take faith from the Bible, James, 2 James, the word faith from the Aramaic Hebrew, that word faith ain't what the English word, I said ain't what the English word purports it to be. You know what that word faith is? In the Bible, in its original language, do you know what it is?
I don't.
Amun. Fact, beyond a doubt. It don't mean believe. Believe is an English word and a Latin word. The etymological root of the word believe is be lie. Be lie. To give the lie away as a gift. When you spell believe out, because for many people, English speaking people that are Christians, faith and belief are interchangeable. But the scripture in English told you faith without work is nothing.
It's dead.
So again, faith in the Bible is fact beyond a doubt. Proof. Not belief. Belief from the Middle English, Belalogian. The lie is a gift from me to you. From belie. Here's a gift for you. The lie. That's what the word believe actually means. Do you get what I'm saying?
That makes sense. Yeah, it does. That makes sense.
You've been played. You've been bamboozled. You've been hoodwinked. You've been taught to think away. That's what I'm saying. Many people are at a certain level of consciousness and they don't realize that their consciousness is being, or their reality is being formed by the limitation of their consciousness.
That's all the more reason to round the edges of your argument. And you can't be so critical on yourself. Yeah, absolutely. You can't be so critical of yourself and your process. That makes a lot of sense.
Hey, man.
Give yourself grace.
I love you, brother. I got to keep it pushing.
Real
Thank
talk.
you, Reggie.
All right, man.
Thank you. Oh, Lord. How am I going to do it? I got to get Heru in. He's been on for too long. But we have 58 minutes. Heru, you got to make this quick, brother. I'm sorry.
Peace and love to the family of nations. We're going to move on. In the streets, we say, game recognize game, spirit recognize spirit. And the reason why I'm not committed to you intimately and intimacy is because I know that I don't want to be with you. Peace and love to the family of nation.
Boom.
Love y'all. Please stay safe.
Yeah, Heru Ali came in with the truth. Daryl from Tuscaloosa, you got 15 seconds. You better make it good. Darnell, you better make it good. Darnell, you got 15 seconds.
Hey, I want to build on what you were saying. I don't want to say what I was going to say. I want to build.
Daryl, you got 10 seconds, man. I got to get out of here.
Like what you were saying with Quincy Jones when he said, hey, whenever you leave yourself, you stop hearing yourself, God leave the room. God leaves the room when fear kick in.
That's right. Hey, man, I appreciate you. Thank you, Darnell, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Ladies and gentlemen, up next, RSVP with Jill Monroe. She's going to keep the fire lit. Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. I'll see you next week with another slapper. Deuces.
I wish that I could fly into the sky so very high, just like a dragonfly. I fly above the trees.